So moving right along, we'll move on to the mayor's report. I just have a couple of things, and sure, I'm taking away some of the thunder, but I'm pretty excited. As you see, the striping machine has been purchased, and we've been practicing on using at the parking lot, and you can see all the parking stalls are nicely striped. I think the first project was down at the city park that I got pictures of. It looks really great down there. And so now that they have lots of practice, I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing some crosswalk markings as well. Let me report on that and took away some of the thunder. With tonight's discussion regarding the citywide newsletter, we're hoping to get the publication to the printers this week, so hopefully we can get through any changes or modifications that people see. I did get a comment from one of our citizens, and I made notes of those to present as well. And but our goal is to have a quarterly newsletter, so I'm looking forward to getting this publication in time because I want it in people's mailboxes in time for announcing the bike rodeo. That's June 13th, so we really have a really short timeline to get it there. So Joanne Butch has been doing Taco Tuesday for a while. It's a little fundraiser that she's been doing to raise money for different things for the youth program over there. And she was able to go to Federway Senior Center and buy 4 computers that were loaded with software with 2010 Office. And I think Dean Fancher gave her that information, and she went out and got 4 of them with keyboards that needed monitors because they had the monitors at $55 a piece. So she's about ready to get those up and running and have that computer lab up and running again. So all of those that are participating in Taco Tuesday, she thanks you very much and keep on doing it because it really benefits the people in our community. One last thing is I want to remind everybody that the Veterans Fair is at the Tacoma Dome this weekend on the 30th, and please come on down there. There's flyers, and also I noticed it made the front page of the Auburn Reporter. With that, that's my report. Next up, we'll have the city administrator.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I was supposed to have a meeting this Thursday with the Uniform Union and the PERC mediator. However, I received a call last week from the PERC mediator. Her name is Paige Garcia, and there's been some delay. There's a couple changes that she wants to look into, and we will not be meeting most likely until June 29th. So hopefully we'll get that done, that agreement done by then, and in July have a new one, even though it'll be a year since the last one expired. I'll keep you up to date on that, and once we have that meeting, then we'll be having an executive session the following council meeting. The negotiating team, which is comprised of myself, Jack, the community development manager, and Lance, the public works manager, continues to work on preparing a response to the public works and clerical unions' first proposition. Once this has been prepared, we will meet in executive session. I'm thinking June 8th for that meeting, to go over council and get your input on this in your direction. Our next meeting with the union is June 11th. That's the Public Works Clerical Union. Revise is the website builder I told you about at the last council meeting. We will be meeting, actually we'll be receiving a presentation from them online at the Technology Committee meeting, which is on Thursday night at 5 o'clock. The presentation will be at 5:30. And the mayor will be attending as well, and it'll be probably, I'm thinking, about half an hour. There are a couple other companies we're going to be discussing this with as well, hopefully to get something from them in the next month or 2 at the latest. Also, I'm currently working with 2 additional vendors regarding the sound systems, just to make sure that the proposal we have is online, is competitive, and we're good to go forward with it, because I know you're not in a rush. But no, I was given some direction from the committee, as well as I picked up one. So we'll have seen 4 different ones, so we'll be ready. So we'll make sure this system will last forever. So, but I will be bringing it back to the council on June 15th with the recommendation. And then we'll also be having the technology committee meeting that week, so it works out really well in June. Finally, the 2014 annual report was completed last week and sent to the state. Everything looks fine and good, and we'll give copies or provide copies to the council or to anybody who wants to put in a request for them once the state auditors put them together. So how it works is we get all of our data for the state auditors, and then they have a portal that we put it through. Instead of sending them anything written, we put it through the portal and they get all this digitally. And then they put together a report, which I think is somewhere around 20, 25 pages, and then they send it out to, and they put it on their website, and they send it to the cities also. And once we have that, last year we put 2013's on our website, which is still there. We'll do the same with this one, so you can either have it that way. It doesn't run like a regular financial report like I provide for you for year-end, but it does have some interesting information that you might want to be aware of, and just so if somebody asks you a question about it. So once we get those back, which is sometime in the summer, I'll provide those to council and the mayor. That's all I have.
Any questions?
Thank you.
So court, we won't have those until our next meeting, that's got to the end of the month. Community services, Darcy is out sick, so public works.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. And yes, Mayor, you did take a little bit of the report, but to paraphrase the old Chinese proverb, success has 1,000 parents, so we're always happy to share success. And in that vein, talking about the paint sprayer and the equipment, Council, you too are part of that success, so thank you for approving the budget earlier this year that allowed us to buy this very valuable piece of equipment. The initial effort was the parking lots, but as the mayor alluded to, there will be crosswalk work to follow later this summer, as well as some of the stop bars, or the bar as you approach a lot of the stop signs at the intersection. So you'll be seeing that equipment in use throughout the summer, so look for it in your travels. Staying on the theme of success and also keeping the report short tonight, as you recall earlier in the year, we had unfortunately applied for an extension for the Interurban Trail Grant, and were turned down because it had been too long from the time the original award happened and the time had lapsed to be able to carry that money forward. So that was unfortunate, but the silver lining in that news was that when the Public Works folks at WSDOT did the accounting for the project, we learned, and just recently learned, that the city will be receiving $142,000 that we then can turn around and use for the piece of the interurban trail that we're not able to complete currently at this time on the Stewart Rd project. So between Valentine and 167, that segment that we're getting shaped up but not paved, this money can be applied to that. So we're very excited about that opportunity. And that's it, keeping it short and sweet.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay, did Jeff make it back in yet? I know he's got a planning commission meeting going on. So, public safety, do you have a report for us?
I have nothing unless there are any questions.
Any questions for public safety? Seeing none? All right, thank you for coming in, Sergeant. So, any council members have anything to report on that is not related to a committee?
I had a question concerning Hotel Motel, so would that be the boards and committees since it's not listed, or just council members in general?
Council members in general.
Okay, so I'm the elected official that's on the Hotel Motel committee, and I have a lot of questions, and I'm not getting the answers I need to be able to give other people answers when I'm asked a question. So one of the things, the first thing I've got is we don't have an application process. We don't actually have a committee, and I'm not sure who's supposed to form the committee. Am I supposed to do that? Are you supposed to do that? Who's supposed to form the committee?
So the way the committee has been in the past, and I know we've had this conversation, is there was generally a council member, business member, a member of the community group, like partnerships, and then there was a business owner and a community member that made up the committee. And you would include the manager from the King Oscar or the Quality Inn. Because they're the ones that pay into the hotel motel, so they would be a part of that committee.
Because we're over 5,000, we have to have 2 from the business community that contribute to the task, and 2 other community members that might utilize the task, and an elected official that have to be a part of that.
So your question.
So we need 2 of each.
So that's what I'm saying,
And
what
then-
was in the past.
So who forms this? Do I need to go out and recruit? How does this happen?
So you can go out and recruit. I have been more than willing to work with you. So you
Okay.
have to call me.
Well, I know.
And so, yeah, we
I
can
mean,
have
I'd
a
be more
sidebar
than happy.
conversation about
Okay.
this and get this taken care of, so.
And the second thing is, I've been calling other cities, I've been reading up on this hotel motel tax, and it's really confusing, and there are no ordinances that govern it other than to say beds, heads and beds, and the goal is to bring in tourism for overnight lodging, or that's basically the gist of it. There, I have asked this before about using the money or requesting the grant for use before the event, and I know that there are other cities, but I still don't understand why we are not able to do it. And I've been told we're a cash-based city, but I don't even understand that. So
We can
I
see
would
about
like,
invoice
okay,
after.
no, we don't have anything that stipulates that that's what we have to do. So do we need to write up some guidelines so that?
Well, in this case, it would fall under our normal way of doing business. And like the mayor said, cash basis means that we pay the bills. The only, I think, exception, as I've explained, I think before, was for per diem when somebody's traveling. This is not that at all. And so, and I've talked to MRSC and I've talked to Carol Morris, and I can't find anything that supports that paying in advance. And not even just for hotel motel, but for anything besides per diem.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we stay in line with what state auditors have listed as our.
Carol Morris sent an email to me that said, or you forwarded it to me that said that we can do that.
I didn't read it that way.
And what other communities are doing as well is, like for their Chamber of Commerce or their, the tourism, booths or whatever, they fund those on an annual basis without, they fund it ahead of time even. So.
Well,
like a budget thing.
it is,
Yeah.
and so I can give you an example. There was one city I worked for where they didn't run the senior center, but they donated to it, so they would budget a donation and they would pay it, but that's different. This isn't a donation setup. So, you know, I've asked questions, though I thought all the right places to find out an answer, and I still haven't gotten something that satisfies you. I can look some more, but I can talk to state auditors, but.
I would like us to have an application process so that it's clear cut, so that everybody knows what's going on. And that application is what's submitted to the tax lodging advisory committee.
So as I'm hearing you, you want something that allows the city to pay something out for the expenses?
I'm just
incurred?
confused as to why some cities do it for certain reasons and don't for others, so.
Maybe you could have, tell me the cities like to contact their finance people, and find out what they do.
Wenatchee,
Okay,
Mount Vernon,
all right.
Point of order.
sorry.
This is a report discussion.
Yeah,
Debate.
right.
I would recommend that we add this to the second workshop in June. Like if you want to request copies of policies from other cities,
Right.
Richard, if you can provide any documentation or state law that you have and that you've done from MRC.
Sure.
This is an agenda for the-
And we've provided all that
Okay.
to Stacy already as well. Okay,
I do have something else.
yes,
So
Colonel Walker.
for the council retreat, we came up with our goals and objectives and haven't done anything with them yet. So I would recommend that we add that to the workshop next week and decide which boards and committees that needs to go to. so we can get work kind of going on that. I don't want to see it drop like it has the last 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And I think Leanne and I had this conversation, I can't remember if I said it here, it's the second time we've heard it, so I apologize. But I think, depending on how many are assigned each committee, I think we need to hold special committee meeting that's dedicated to just that topic, and we need deadlines. So, based on what we talk about next week, I think if we shoot for the end of August, to have at least something, brainstorming session in your committees, if some can go to park board or planning commission, we need to start moving. We don't need to have action taken, but we need to have action items drawn up, I think, by the end of summer, so we can start planning for it in the budget for next year.
We did discuss this in the staff meeting as well, as far as getting these to the committee, so hopefully we'll have it all drawn out. Yeah. Perfect. Any other council reports not on the committee? No? Okay, let's run through. Finance committee. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack came back, that's right. Come on in, Jack. Come on up, I'm sorry.
I made it.
I was just going right on down. Move
No,
on.
a real quick report here.
Thank you.
Building inspector, code enforcement officer, we had the interviews almost 2 weeks ago now. And we have one top candidate, one last reference to get, and so far what we've had is the 2 references I've received were very favorable, so I think we have a winner, you might say, in that respect, and hopefully have somebody on board fairly shortly. Another item, we have sent out a code violation letter to downtown cannabis, or the city attorney, and also a complaint letter regarding the business license to the city clerk's office, which is part of our process. So we're getting into the process to try to deal with these businesses that are there illegally. Planning Commission, we're having a meeting right now, dealing with the sign code regulations, with the freeway sign district, and some other sign code revisions that we're be looking at and bringing back to council, bringing to council in the near future. And with that, I have to apologize to the governance committee, but I failed to bring those proposed revisions to the governance committee before it got in the planning commission. I hope you accept my apologies, and I'm hoping that we can get them to the governance committee at their next regular meeting. They're running by, really get the governance committee up to speed on what's been proposed.
Will you have it by next Tuesday?
Yes, you can have everything by, actually, everything's all put together. We can send them out tomorrow, as a matter of fact, the information. So, in a nutshell, that is what is going on right now, and I'll have to get back to the other meeting.
Thank you for coming in, Jack, I appreciate that.
Okay.
And thanks for getting in, Jerry.